Good morning, everybody. And today we're going to look at cheap or affordable. I've got these knives here, and these are all from Ozark Trail. And I'm going to do a video per each one, and we'll answer the question if any of these are affordable knives or just simply cheap knives. So stick with me, guys. I'm going to select one of these to do a quick Outhouse review on. I'll get right back to you. Okay, first one up, you got a fixed blade here. Now there's not a super amount of detail to give on the knife, so I'll just give you the basics I got from the packaging. And all these knives came in a similar cardboard kind of deal here. But real quick, the sheath, that's a simple plastic sheath. It's got a little push off right there. Retention is decent enough. I mean, I don't think it's going to fly out of there very easily. Very light. This whole package with the knife and everything is super light. For your belt loop, you have a clip. And me personally, if I was going to carry this, my theory on that, I'd do something, since I got the ability to, with enough real estate here, zip tie, cordage or something, keep that shut. That's my personal preference. All right. Now, it's a 7.5 inch overall. The blade is 3.25 inches. The handle, rubberized handle, and it is 4.25 inches. Full tang, and it's not giving me the steel type, I don't believe, but I'm going to look on the back. No, it does not. But I'm going to assume that this, we're looking at maybe at best like a 3 or 5, 13 MOV, kind of deal. It's going to be a fairly affordable budget steel for sure. Now, despite the dimensions given on this handle, and if you go from here clear back to here to the very butt, yeah, but since this swoops in, we have this little beak right here. That's actually, it's pretty much a 3-fingered knife for me because of that little beak. Now, it's not a super big deal. I could really put this on like a belt sander or a bench grinder and just round this out where it's, it's not in the way. Yeah. And you gotta land your hole. I want to try to look up the price. Maybe I can just insert a picture or something like that for you guys, because they said they were Christmas gifts. I have no idea how much it cost, but this is a budget line from Ozark Trail, so I'm assuming this fixed blade at the most probably costs $7-8. But we'll take it down here, and I'm going to grab some wood, and we'll see how well she carves. Sharpness out of the box, not too impressive, but like I said, it's a budget blade, so I didn't really necessarily expect them to come razor sharp by any means. So, however, and this is a dry piece of pine, so in case anybody's wondering what kind of wood I'm using, we can kind of feather stick with it. I definitely would like to say that it needs honed a little bit, maybe a little bit more work done on that bevel, but we can get by on pine anyway. I would dare say if you had a hardwood, you're going to be struggling with the edge that this comes with to do much to a piece of hardwood as far as trying to feather it out. We got our old kind of gnarly basically our new ugly stick for our Outhouse reviews here, and this is just basically so we can just kind of hog off pieces. So, and again, this is a pine, but she's got a lot of knots in it, and she's not pretty. It's not doing too bad. I'm not I'm not really getting in there taking huge deep bites because, like I said, it's a pretty thin, lightweight. It's more of a light duty kind of knife. So, I'm not boring down on this thing like I'm using a great, heavier duty, say, bushcraft kind of blade. And the jimping on it, by the way, I forgot to mention the jimping. I don't really necessarily, I personally don't care if my knives have jimpings. And I have seen some videos where the jimping has contributed to blade failures and battening the blade. But given the nature of this blade, I wouldn't recommend doing a whole bunch of that. If you can keep from it, it's definitely not made for that. This is kind of a general use knife, general cutting task. I would dare say if you hone this up and reprofiled that and got her real good and sharp, I think she'd actually do pretty good for food prep too, because it has the basically the hollow grind kind of deal going on it. So it should be a decent slicer if you had the proper edge geometry put on it. For what it is, like I said, that's not too hateful. However, we are going to batten this, so that's next. This is what we got, guys. As you can see, this is pretty well, I'd say, the max diameter you'd want to go with this blade. That's not going to leave a whole lot left to hit on the tip. So that's what we're going to start out with here. Batten. Here we go. Let's get this old beauty right here out. All right, we're going to try to go just dead center here. I don't have any cracks to take advantage of, so this is nice and solid. So let's see what we can get. I want to say that was not bad. That actually did a pretty decent job. But we're going to break this down a couple more times, guys. I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought it would have stuck a little bit, but not bad. Now, I honestly don't think these little screws are going to hold up to a whole lot of that kind of hard impact. I mean, this, like I said, this thing is not made for this. So do keep that in mind. I'm actually abusing this knife. This is strictly for general cutting purposes, and this is well beyond that. However, as you guys can see, it did pretty well at that. All right. So I think next I'll grab some cordage, guys. We'll move on and we'll cut some cordage. All right, guys. Let's see how well she goes. Now this is pretty thick, and this stuff's actually pretty resistant to being abraded and cut. So this is going to be a pretty good test for this guy. Now, when they're done right, this blade design does have a little bit of advantage. That slight recurve going on there. Now that helps draw material in and bunches it, so it can't really escape very well. So you can, cut it easier. That's the theory anyhow. So, however, if the blade's not sharp, that's not going to work quite so well. And this lower part of this bevel on this blade is quite thick, and it's nowhere near as sharp as the rest of especially the belly here is the sharper part of this knife. But we'll see if we can't get through this without too much effort. A lot of resistance. That was a decent bit of force, but at the very least, I'll give it a little bit of credit. That wasn't too dirty of a cut. That's not too bad. But like I said, now admittedly, this portion as it came right through here where I'm doing most of that cutting needs some TLC done to get that proper. So, but I just want to show you guys as is, how it came to me. So we'll put this guy down on here or stump, try to find a spot that's semi-flat. Now we're going to let's drop this a little bit so you can get a better view. Now we're going to use this belly portion here and see if we can't cut that a lot easier, I hope. Yeah, that was significantly easier. Let's do it again. Oh, that wasn't such a good cut there, guys. Yeah, man, in case anybody's wondering what a dirty cut looks like on this cordage here, that's kind of what happens. So this stuff here will tell on you real quick if your knife ain't sharp. So I'm going to drop that back. I cut on this back end portion of that. Let's try that again there, see if that's any better. Yeah, that's a little better. But I want to tell you right now, that dulled it, because I can see the fraying. Sorry, guys. I can see some more fraying. This piece is not as clean as the first one. So we've already lost a good bit of sharpness on that second cut there. However, I want to be honest with you, that was expected. This is not a high-end blade by any stretch of the imagination. All right, yeah. Yeah, we failed to separate that time. Just real quick for my own curiosity, I'm going to take my leather belt here, guys. I'm going to run this across a couple times on both sides. Okay, yeah, I can feel a burr right there throughout the whole blade where we dulled that up a little bit. Let's see if this helps it any. Not putting too much pressure, following the contours of the knife. Let's see if that helped any at all. Not much. Okay. Well, next we'll just move on to our cardboard. And I think right even before that, we'll give just a few more strops on the leather belt, and then I'll cut off and we'll do the cardboard, guys. And this isn't by no means anything particular. While this would be a very simple and easy method to kind of keep this edge up while you're using the knife, it doesn't require anything special. Yeah. One more time on this side, I think. All right, guys. Put that there. I'll get that piece of cardboard and be right back. Okay, I got our cardboard. Actually, I need to readjust camera. Sorry, guys. There. All right. Now, I want to predict that this isn't going to cut this very well. But, I'm not making a heavy criticism. Like I said, this is a very low-priced knife with not the greatest quality steel. So, okay, that actually didn't do great, but I want to admit that did better than I thought. But we can see a little bit of jaggedy cut right there, and we didn't quite fully pop it off, but actually it wasn't super bad. So, I mean, I got my expectations kind of tempered for, being a little bit realistic. Yeah, right there's a pretty dull spot. It's really not liking that. Yeah, we kind of ragged out on it right there. All right, I'm going to try reverse gripping it. I'm going to try to get in here. This seems to be the sharper part of the edge here, so see if that does any better. A little bit, but I definitely felt the resistance there. I don't think, if I had a sheet of paper, well, I do not, guys. I do apologize. I'll bring some paper up here next time. I just like to show you that I can tell you now that this thing was not going to go through a sheet of paper or nothing. But all right, let's close the video out, guys. Well, guys, here she is. Like I said, with tempering my expectations, it's not like the worst. It's not going to hold an edge very well, but again, it is easily to sharpen. This would be something like I would literally just throw in like a tackle box, or be honest with you, it may just end up in a kitchen somewhere to cut like onions or something like that with. The sheath is pretty meh. It's not terrible. It's definitely strong enough to keep the blade from damaging anything, like accidentally cutting stuff whether it's in a pack or on your belt. like I said, is what it is for the price. I do like that better than like, it's real chintzy nylon deals that, you could almost see through. Far better that than the other. So, like it's super lightweight. I could probably, if I took the time to put a good edge on this, and I would say I could even use this for some animal processing, because you don't need like a super steel for that. So now the question is, as far as keeping this thing like maybe in a pack or something like that, if I'm considering this for like emergency gear, camping, bushcraft, bug out, all that kind of stuff, absolutely not. It does not check the boxes to even consider it to be that. But just for a random kind of everyday use knife, and I want something I can cut with, and I don't want to like worry too much that what I'm doing could really damage it and I'm going to be out a bunch of money. It's pretty good for that, like a junk knife. So, and there's a lot to be said about having junk knives, because like on my person, I carry a few really good knives. It'd be like, what I feel like, okay, this knife, in case of this emergency I got, it's like a bushcraft emergency survival kind of thing, along with maybe a multi-tool in consideration for that. Then I got something like this, and it's like, if I have to scrape something off something, I really don't think this thing would survive any kind of real prying. I do believe it just snap this thing, no problem. But, there's some stuff that you might need to cut that could damage a blade, but you still really need to get it cut. And that's where something like this is okay, and it's not going to break the bank. Like I said, this is definitely something I'd throw in like a tackle box, just throw it in there, not worry about if it gets, it's got a coating on it, so it shouldn't rust, but, I'm not out a bunch of money if something happens to it. So hopefully that's informative, guys. So if you do see this one up there, at the very least now, maybe you got an idea of the limitations for it. And my personal opinion, mind you, what I feel the applications it would be good in. So, and for what it's worth, I've got an extremely vast amount of experience with edge tools and weapons. I even make knives. Well, it's been a while since I've made knives, but I used to make knives, so I've got a lot of experience, I think. But, you don't have to listen to me. I'm not the end all be all of anything. So with that, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your time. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm getting back into this as much as I can, guys, between all the stuff going on. So I'm going to try to get the channel built even bigger. I know we're pretty tiny, but I appreciate your help, guys, and I'll see y'all in another video.